It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and day one in La Mesa. This is a really special project. Those of you that follow closely remember when we toured Jennifer's back garden and how extraordinary it was. She has commissioned myself and Team DFS to create a Xeriscape in her front yard. So, a couple of challenges that we're dealing with here. Number one challenge is gophers. So Jennifer wanted to put down gopher mesh prior to planting because they are insidious in this yard. The challenge that's not a big deal. We've done it once before. The client actually did all of this prep work. They took out the lawn and they put down the mesh. My kind of clients. But the challenge is we are planting a Desert Museum Palo Verde tree, and unlike succulents where roots are basically optional and they'll literally grow on concrete, the tree needs to be able to have its roots go somewhere. So the tiny little mesh wasn't going to be satisfactory for the health of this tree long term. So what they did is they applied a really tight galvanized mesh in the succulent areas of the yard and did a wider, more of a chicken wire in the Palo Verde Desert Museum section of the yard. So what we're going to do is we are going to actually stage the tree right on top of the mesh and then build the soil up around it. And over here, we are going to do a big aloe ferox, and so she did a wider mesh here for the same reason, so that the ferox can get its legs, and then the smaller mesh here. The plants, I got some really cool things. We got a really cool piece of driftwood from Driftwood Larry. I got some very special mammillarias. I got another one of those fuzzy yuccas that we put in at Granite Hills. I got some giant barrel cactus bare root from Caesar at Sun Valley. I've got a Dazzlerian longissimum, a Pachypodium lemerii, a Baccarnia recurvata. I've got an agave cream spike, and I've also got a Quichou, the cream spike. Where's it at? It's somewhere. And a aloe rubra violacea. And then the client has got some really beautiful things that she curated from her backyard that we're going to use in this installation. So there will be no irrigation. This will be hand watered occasionally in the hotter months by the client, who we know is she's a plant person with a very green thumb. So the job right now is to move these yards. I think this is 3 yards of soil. Then Greg is off now getting more soil and the first round of our boulders. This downslope, you can't tell in the video, but it's pretty steep, and water tends to pool right down here when it does rain. So I'm going to do a really good job of mounding so that any irrigation that we get from the sky, that the soil will basically take it in like a sponge. Also, this is a very narrow street, so we need to be very mindful right here of creating enough room for people to park and open their car door to egress. But we also don't want people parking up on, because apparently they do. They'll like literally drive their cars right up into the yard. So thus the little boulders here to discourage that. So it's half of one, 6 dozen of another. We got some things to do. Oh, and another thing, you note we have some weed barrier cloth right here. This is the neighbor's side of the fence, but they just had weeds and they said no problem to go ahead and excavate all of their weeds, put down the fabric, and then we're just going to rock this neighbor's side in so that this will always look nice and clean. And yeah, just gophers, they're here. They didn't make their way through the mesh, but they tried. when Greg and I were here yesterday, we saw mounding right here as well. So these gophers are making a solid effort, but no luck. Okay, so we are going to start moving soil around, staging boulders, planting Palo Verde trees, and we'll check in with you later.
You could probably drive up, Daddy.
Good deal.
Wow, that looks pretty.
Then we need to find Okay, so Team DFS moved 6 yards of soil onto this side of the project, and this is representative of 5 ton of boulder. There's, I believe, 24 pieces of rock, ranging in weight from, I guess, 50, 60 pounds up to a couple 100 pounds. We have Baja Cresta, honey quartz, mostly, and then some others that I'm not sure what they are. Yeah, the Baja Red. And we just hosed them off because they were so dirty, and they're just so pretty. And our Xeriscape is really starting to take shape. Now, it isn't a classic Xeriscape in the sense that you will note that some of these plants, need some supplemental watering, but the client is down to do that. So it's a Xeriscape in the sense that we aren't doing manual or automatic irrigation. It's going to be reliant on her generosity to water the plants. This mammillaria is so stunning. It's a one-off that I got at Waterwise Botanicals. It's a Gymina something, as opposed to a Gemina something. So do I know my plants, or do I know my plants? Yeah, we've got some specimens from the client, Hesperaloe, which I haven't been using because I can't find it. So I was really excited with that. And you know how I talked to you too about don't stress out or overthink your pathways because they'll reveal themselves? That's exactly what's happened today. They just opened themselves right on up for us. I didn't plan this, but it makes a lot of sense. We've got an opening here that cuts here, wraps around, and I'm going to support those natural indents. And we're going to be doing a 3/8 Cali Gold, and then I'll probably be top dressing with Burgundy 3/4 because that's what the client loves and has in the back. So we've got our driftwood staged, we've got our beautiful Palo Verde Desert Museum tree in the ground, and tomorrow Greg is going to show up here with another probably 2 or 3 yards of soil for this side, and another ton or two of boulders for this side. Our Aloe Ferox is going to be our money plant over here, staged somewhere in this vicinity, so it has plenty of room to be a Ferox. And yeah, we'll just be blowing out the other side with the rest of the plants that we have. Then on day 3, we will do the rocking, and we will have another one in the books. So thanks so much for following along. Thanks for all the subscriptions and the comments. Really have been enjoying all of your wonderful questions. So don't hesitate to hit me up in the comments, or DM me at Laura Loves Succulents on Instagram. I'm loving seeing your work and your projects and your process. So don't hesitate to reach out on Instagram as well. Another thing that I have taken to heart that you all have been telling me to do is to stop one-offing my boulders and group them together in clusters more like Mother Nature intended. I have taken your suggestions to heart. I'm loving it. I consider this to be an evolution of my design aesthetic, and I thank you for the encouragement. I'm loving how that looks with the boulders tighter together. So yeah, exciting stuff is afoot. Thanks you so much, Team DFS, and to our wonderful volunteer, Luke, who's also very camera shy. We'll catch you tomorrow. This has been Laura of Design for Serenity with Day 1, Xeriscape in La Mesa. Bye, guys.